Hey, birdies. Welcome to my very first episode on Let's Talk About It. I was this close to saying, welcome to my very first episode on Pillow Talks with Jesus, but this is not Pillow Talks with Jesus. Oops. This is actually Let's Talk About It. It's a space of real stories, renewed faith, relentless hope. See, I've actually had this podcast thingy in mind for like the longest. Let me take that back. The Holy Spirit has actually did put this thing in me in my head for like the past 2 years now, and I've just been stalling. When I started Pillow Talks with Jesus, I thought that was where he was taking me to, even though it was he that's actually one of the things that he wants me to do. I didn't This podcast things kept coming to mind, and I was like, okay, maybe I should just take that walk of faith like I did with Pillow Talks with Jesus and see where it goes and see the direction the Holy Spirit is taking me. And well, welcome, guys. I'm so glad you guys are here. I am your host, Karen. See, this is actually a two man podcast. So it is. I have a co-host with me, but her name is Ella, but she won't be here all the time. She will be here twice a month because this is going to be a weekly thingy. So we are going to be coming every week and sharing with you guys real life issues. But she'll be here like once in 2 weeks. So this podcast was actually born out of a desire to create a safe space for honest conversation. Like I said, here we talk about faith, we talk about growth, we talk about identity, we talk about healing, and everything in between, all the messy, all the beautiful parts of life that comes to working with God, we talk about it here. Because honestly, it's not a walk in the park working with God. It is not. You see, life isn't always perfect. We all know that. We fall, we question, we struggle, but through it all, remains faithful. That's one thing we all agree on. God remains faithful through our struggles, through our growth, through everything. He remains faithful. So, and sometimes we all need to be reminded that we are not alone in this. We all need that reminder, because sometimes we tend to forget that, oh, we are not alone. We even tend to question. That's where that question comes in. God, are you still here with me? Are you still here with me? So you need a reminder that you are not alone, that He's with you every step of the way. Every step of the way, He's with you. So whether you are just finding your way back to God, or trying to make sense of your season, or simply looking for encouragement, you are in the right place, guys. You are here in the right place. We are going to laugh. We are going to make jokes. And sometimes we will cry. We are going to cry just a little bit, but it's all part of the beauty of this podcast, you get. But all in all, we all grow together in faith and in grace. So once again, welcome to Let's Talk About It. Our very first episode, we're going to be talking about how our childhood affects who we become as adults. It's actually a real thing. Sometimes we might not actually agree that it does affect who we become as adults, but to be honest, our childhood, it does affect who we become as adults. It does affect that. So let's start. Our childhood, where we first, it's a place where it's like a seed that is being planted, and if we keep watering it, we keep weeding, we keep trying to tend to it till it grows up and bears fruit. So that's how it is. So when we don't tend to that seed, sometimes it dies, sometimes we harvest it with weed. So our childhood is where we first learn about the world, what love feels like, how to trust, how to express our emotions, and even how we see ourselves. It's where our roots begins. While we speak on this, I will talk about my childhood, because it was an interesting one. At the same time, coming to a realization that a lot of things were overlooked when it came to me growing up. We're going to talk about it here. When those early years are full of warmth, safety, and guidance, they often create stability in adulthood, confidence, empathy, and security. But when that childhood is marked by loss, trauma, neglect, or emotional distance, we often carry silent wounds to adulthood. I happen to be one of them. We may not notice it, but those early experience shapes how we love, how we trust, how we see ourselves. It does happen. How we handle conflict and stress. You see, from from a faith perspective, the Bible reminds us in Proverbs 22 verse 6, and I'm reading from NIV: train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. See, that means the foundation laid early in life deeply affects the path we take later. But here's the beautiful truth. Your past doesn't define who you are. If I was still dwelling in my past and still thinking that, oh, my past actually defines who I am, I don't think I'll be where I am today, because I will be in self-pity, I will be entitled. A whole lot of things would have happened to me. See, even if your childhood was broken, God specializes in rebuilding foundations. Let's just come to that understanding. Psalm 147 verse 3 says, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. I read this in my devotional like 3 mornings ago, this particular scripture. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wound. So whatever you are seeking to heal your broken heart will not help you except you take it to God. He's the only one who can actually heal your broken heart, and he will bind your wounds for you through faith and healing, and sometimes professional help, talking to somebody, to a therapist. You can unlearn the pain and relearn peace, because those are hidden issues that you didn't handle. Your childhood may explain your behavior as a person, but it doesn't have to excuse or imprison it. God can rewrite your story one layer at a time. So while he peels off an old layer, he replaces it with a new one. That's what happened. That's what happened. So while I was growing up, first of all, I'm the last born of 4 children. We are four, and I'm the last. And my immediate elder sister is like 8 years older than me. I know, right? The age gap is wild. It is wild. But here's the gag. there was no there was no sort of relationship there, because at some point they all left home. But while I'm getting there, I lost my dad at the age of 13 when I was 13, and before then I got everything that I wanted from my dad. We were not really some sort of a boxed up family. We didn't have it all. But because of the fact that he made it look like as if we did have it all, because for everything I made request for, he gave it to me. He did give it to me for everything that I wanted. He gave it to me. And to be honest, growing up those times, I didn't really ask for a lot. I was just a spoiled little child that wanted what I wanted. And being the superhero dad that he was, he gave it to me regardless. Maybe if he even had to go and borrow, he did that. My mom, on the other hand, was the hard parent, was the stiff one, was the one that puts her foot on the ground and says no is no. But to him, he never told me no. It was a no. I never got the no from my dad, not once, to be honest. Even if he did tell me no, if I cry a little or I frown, just touches his heart and he gives it to me. And that was amazing. When he died, I cried. I did cry, but I didn't really grasp the concept of what death is. I just knew that I would never see him again, and I knew that he would not give me the things that I actually wanted from him, because I knew that my mother would not give it to me, because she was never somebody that I knew the answer she was going to give me was no for every time I was going to ask her. So what's the need of going to ask her if I know that the answer I was going to get was a no? So I don't even go to ask her for anything, to be honest. It was always my dad. So I just knew that I was never going to see my dad again. And he was never going to be there anymore. He was never going to give me anything the things that I wanted. And I felt that was the end of it for me at that time. I didn't know bigger things were coming. And at some point, my siblings left home. Like all three of them, my sister left home finally for school, and she barely came back. We lived in the north in Kaduna, and she schooled in the east. My eldest brother, I can't even remember him ever being at home except for when he finished school and was home for like a year or two, if I'm not mistaken, and he was off. And ever since then, we didn't see him. Then the second one was at some point he was in the east. Yeah, he was in the east. Then he now came back and now moved to Jos, and that was it. So it was for the better part of my life. It was just I and my mom. And then my mom got an admission to the same school my elder brother was at. That's Unijos. It was a part-time. It wasn't a full-time study like us. It was part-time. So she had days where when she traveled. So at some point, it was just me alone. So growing up, I didn't have that relationship with my siblings or my mother, because I think they were all trying to figure out life for themselves, and I was now left at the back. If this is me trying to make excuses, but I feel like I was neglected. It was a neglect, but it was necessary because somebody had to provide. My dad was gone. It's not like his family was anything to write home about. I'm not speaking bad about them, but they were not reliable. So my mom had to step up. And me being the last born, I think my mom gave me that leverage and that trust to believe that I could make the right decision. I never had to sit down with my mom to talk about sex and boys. That was never my mom. I don't know if she had that with my sister, but she never had that with me. We never had that conversation about boys, about sex, about condoms. So it was just like me going to church and me hearing that, oh, fornication is sin. Stay away from boys. If you let boys touch you, it's a sin. So your everyday Sunday school church, that's where I heard about it. But I wasn't convinced. I actually didn't even want to try it. Like I wanted to know why they are saying it's a sin. I didn't have a conviction about who God is. It was just your normal Sunday going to church. And that was it. So yeah, the relationship was never there. And then I went up to school. And now the freedom that I was yearning for, that I was praying for, I finally got it. Mind you, I was never locked up at home. I was just always questioned. Where are you going to? Yeah, you are not going anywhere. Stay home. So I didn't want to be checkmated for every move that I made. So now I got that freedom. I was I was miles away from the eye of my mother or my sister. At that time, my sister already got a job. She's finding her footing in life. She's trying to figure out who she is. My other brother relocated out of the country. The second one, it was in Jos. So we're just everywhere. Do you understand? And My admission wasn't a direct one. It was first diploma 2 years, then a direct entry. So for a course of 4 years, I ended up doing 6 years in school. Isn't that an interesting thing? But let's keep going. So it was a struggle. It was a serious struggle for me when I got to school. So even though I got the freedom that I wanted, a whole lot of struggle came. A whole lot of struggle followed. And because of I didn't have anybody to talk to, I didn't grow up talking to anybody or expressing myself or showing emotions. It was hard. And the only thing that I knew to resort to was smoking because that was like an escape for me. And I was surrounded with people who either drank or smoked. I was never a drinking person, so I was not easily influenced in that aspect. And then I started seeking validation from men, and not from the right men, from the wrong set of men, those who smoked, those who were for in fact I glorified fraudsters. Like I wanted to be a babylet or a pablet. I wanted to be that because I felt it was the life. That's what I wanted. So I got involved with them, and I mean the smoking encouraged. And we're in a society where you see guys are drawn or they are very attracted to girls who smoke. And that was like something that cemented it for me because if I smoke, I knew guys will want my attention or will give me the attention that I need. And guess what? I blocked all my family from my social media because I knew I wasn't doing the right thing. And the funny thing is that they didn't question me on that. The two times that I know my sister caught me, I lied and she let it. I have a feeling that my sister knew that I was smoking, but I don't think I don't know if she wanted to confront me about it, or she felt that I would make the right. I don't know. I've never had that conversation with her, but I did tell my mom. I did tell my mom about what I was struggling with because the Holy Spirit told me to tell my mom about it, but we're getting there. So I blocked all my family from my social media page, and to be honest, they didn't question me at all. So I did whatever I wanted to do. I traveled. I was so that was what made me get extra year. And it's not like I wasn't an intelligent girl because when I put my head to something, I did pass, but I didn't just care. I was living the life. And to be honest, it's only the grace of God that saw me through. That saw me through that I didn't end up dead or something, or even worse. What can be worse than death? So it was only the grace of God that saw me through, to be honest. I, for everything that happened, it just gave me a realization, or the Holy Spirit brought it to my mind or my attention that I didn't value myself, I didn't respect my body, I didn't respect myself. And because of the way that I didn't value myself and the way I carried myself, attracted the people that I was attracting. The things that I said, the things that I did to attract. I wanted responsible people, but it wasn't responsible people that came to me or that got my attention or I was trying to draw the attention from. It wasn't responsible people. And I just felt like, okay, whatever I'm getting, I deserve it. To be honest, baby girl, if you're in this shoe or if you're in this shoe, you don't deserve it. In fact, you deserve better, but you have to first forgive yourself for what you did or for what you have been doing. You first have to forgive yourself first of all. Let's start from there. When you forgive yourself, you now start because I didn't have that confidence, I didn't have that security. So I sought it from people who didn't even value me enough. I didn't value myself, so why would people value me? I didn't respect myself, so why will men respect me? But for my sister, it was different. It was different. I'm not blaming my family for what happened to me. I also take the blame. I also take the blame because from brokenness you see people coming out. But I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be seen. So for I feel that for anybody that told me hi or hey, oh, this person sees me, but no, that person doesn't see you. That person doesn't see you at all. Being the youngest with that so much age gap, it was a lot because I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't talk to my siblings. See, for the 6 years I was in school, I never spoke to my siblings for once, not on call. If I needed something, I'll call my mom. She was like the middle person for me and my siblings. If I needed anything, my mom straight. And I don't even call to check up on my mom. When I call, it's because I need something. It's not because of I want to have a conversation. And that was bad. But at that time, I didn't care. And I didn't know it was actually bad. There was no relationship whatsoever between my siblings and I. There was no relationship whatsoever between my mom. But now it's better. Now it's better. I mean, I live with my sister. I live with my sister. Something happened to me one time. In fact, in school, I never told anybody about it. It was just my sister that I told. And how did I tell my sister? We were watching something and I now told her, this thing happened to me. And she was like, what? I now gave her the rundown of everything that happened. And she was like, I didn't open up to my sister or anybody because of I felt like I was going to be judged. I felt I was ashamed of myself. I was judging myself. I was even blaming myself for what happened to me. If I hadn't gone there, if I was not moved, if I was not greedy for money, if I just kept blaming myself that all those things wouldn't have happened to me. And because of that, I didn't, for some reason, it didn't eat me up. But for every time I remembered it, I just knew that it was your fault. For this thing to have happened to you, it was your fault. And I didn't want anybody to see me in that light. And I didn't want pity. I didn't want anybody to pity me for anything, to be honest. I didn't want that pity. So I kept sinking deep. I kept sinking. I left school. I moved to Lagos to stay with my sister. I was a hustler. I am. I'm not saying I'm a hustler. I was a hustler back then. And for everything, I wanted to make money. I didn't want to depend on anybody for anything, not even my siblings. I thought I could do it alone. So I don't need them for anything. So I came to Lagos. I started working and I kept sinking deep and deep and deep. I kept smoking. I kept attracting the wrong people. I just kept seeking for validation, love from men, and it just kept the void kept getting deeper and bigger till one time I was like, you know what, I'm done, I need God. And I just went to him and everything changed from then. What am I saying? Because of the fact that there was neglect, there was like an emotional distance. I didn't have that security that I wanted from my family. And I feel that that thing happened, what that thing happened to me, and why it happened to me, so that I would have a reason to come back to God. Maybe there would have been something else that would have brought me back to him, but that was the major thing that actually brought me back to God, or that brought me to him, or that he opened my eyes to see, or I now had a conviction for him. There was loss, I had trauma, and I built a coping mechanism of pushing things out. I didn't want to deal with the emotion. Because I don't, what does that even mean? What emotion is that? There was an emotional distance while growing up. There was neglect, there was trauma, there was loss. I didn't deal with the loss of my dad. So I carried all those things to adulthood, and it grew to something. I was clingy. Love, when I never really dated anybody. I'm 29 and I can categorically tell you that I have never dated anybody. Like being in a proper, it was always a situationship. It was always a situationship. I have never really dated any guy. I am 29 and I'm letting you guys know that I've never really dated any guy. what seemed to be love to me, what I thought was never love. I don't know what it was, but it was never love at the end of the day, because I clung on to that thing that it was. I thought it was love from men. I held on to it tightly, and I was so scared to pull away. In some aspects, in some aspects, when it came to trust, I didn't trust. In fact, I was preparing for people to, in the moment you come into my life, I was preparing for you to walk out. That nobody ever stays. So there's no need for me to trust. Like, it was sad. How did I see myself? I saw myself as somebody who wasn't enough. I constantly chasing validation. Oh my God. I didn't know how to handle conflict and stress. It's either I lash out or I overthink the situation, or oh my God, it was a lot. It was a lot. Our childhood doesn't just disappear when we grow up. It grows with us. It grows whether you change environment. It is a part of us. It is a part of us. I didn't want to face it. The coping mechanism for me was push it down. So other things kept suppressing those things that I kept pushing down. So it felt like as if it was not there. In fact, my cousin one time told me that I needed therapy, and I told her that I'm very fine. I don't need therapy. I don't need to talk to anybody. I'm very fine. But that was also a lie that I was telling myself, because I didn't want to accept the truth that I actually needed therapy, or I needed to talk to somebody, because I was going through it. And it also affected relationship with people. So, okay, that's actually another topic for another day. So we're not going to talk about it. We're talking about childhood and how it affected adulthood, how it affects our adulthood. So it doesn't just grow out because of what you didn't deal with when you were 19. That trauma you didn't deal with when you were 19 grows up with you till when you are, and grows up with you to your 24 or your 25. It doesn't go away. The fact that you don't deal with it doesn't mean it disappeared. It automatically disappeared. No, it's still part of you. And if you are not in denial to yourself, you will see it in every decision you make, in how you speak, in how you act, in how you handle things. You will see it there. You will see it there. People who are bitter today, or people, your girls, or who hate men today, it stemmed up from something. It didn't just appear one day. Oh, I hate men. It's something from a trauma that was not handled, or that was not addressed. So their coping mechanism is to shut down and automatically say, I hate men. But that's not the right way. And the moment God stepped into my life, everything changed. So he started peeling every layer of myself. One day, a couple of days ago, I asked my sister how she sees me from her lens, because to be honest, I'm beginning to open up now. Just a little. My sister, on the other hand, tells me everything that goes on with her life. But I don't know how to do that. If it's not something that affects me professionally with my work, when it comes to my relationship life, or my struggles, I don't know how to open up to her. But I've started opening up to my mom. I stay opening up to my mom, but when it comes to her, I'm still getting there. I'm still getting there, because I yearn for that sister relationship whereby I can be able to open up to her and she listens to me, because we have both different personalities. She's the calm one, she's the chilled one, she's the quiet one, she's the one that listens. I, on the other hand, act before I listen. It's when I've done the action that I will not listen. But she, on the other hand, she's very graceful. She's very graceful. She carries herself with so much dignity. And I hated her for that at one point in my life. Why? I don't know. Because, okay, at some point, my mom was always even comparing both of us together. And that's, but I'm so grateful to God that I never acted on that hate. on that feeling. But at some point, I did hate my sister. I'm like, but right now, it's actually evolving. And I asked her a couple of days ago, in what light, from her lenses, who would she say I am? And she was like, I'm evolving as a person. But one thing that she spoke about was my self-centeredness. I have to first satisfy my own self before I think of any other person. But that's not what it is when it comes to you being a believer. You need to give service to people. Jesus didn't put himself first, he put us first. That's why he died for you and I. If he did put himself first, he wouldn't have died for us. And we're supposed to be replicating or mimicking his character as a person, so that people will understand who Jesus was or who Jesus is. And when they see you, they know that you have Jesus in your life. So I'm coming to that place, taking constructive criticism and not justifying your actions. I used to do that, but right now I take everything and I try to be a better version of myself. So, girl, birdie, if you have ever felt that this way, or you are going through this thing that I am actually going, or that I went through before God stepped into my life, I just need you, you're not alone. I just need you to know that you're not alone. In fact, there's love at home. And when I mean home, I don't mean your house where your father or your mother is. When I mean home, I mean God. He's waiting for you. There's love at home. He's going to give you that security you need, the reassurance you need, the love that you need, the validation, the attention you need. He will give it to you. The peace that you seek, he will give it to you. Baby, there is love at home. It's never too late to come back. It was never too late for me, so it's not going to be too late for you. The only time it's going to be too late is when you are dead. So as long as you're not dead, it's not too late for you. Come back to him. If you need somebody to talk to, seek for counseling, talk to a therapist, or if you need to talk to me, I'm always here. I'll listen to you, girl, because I was once in your shoes. I'm still growing. He's still peeling off old layers and replacing it with new ones. And that's what he wants for you. Your story is not just for you alone. It's a testament for other people to understand and believe that there's actually a God. So he wants you. He wants you. You have a greater purpose and he wants to use you for his will. So baby, come home. There's love at home. There is love at home. See, there's love at home. Sin thrives in secrecy, but healing happens in honesty. So come, there's love at home. So you can start your healing journey. It's a beautiful one. I hope you had a good time, guys, because I did have a wonderful time. This is my first episode, my first time here, and I'm so grateful to God. So yeah, guys, I hope you had a wonderful time because I did. I had this swell time with you guys, and until next time, next week, and until next week, same time next week, I remain your beautiful and your amazing host, Karen. See you guys next time. And if you need to ever talk to somebody, I am one DM away. Just holla. Bye, guys.